is To Be or Not to Be, directed by Ernst
Uh,
Lubitsch.
isn't that the question?
Shakespeare invented a lot of turns of phrase, and this movie involves Shakespeare. Plays, not the guy.
There you go.
Yeah, this is a sort of very contemporary. Not I don't know. I wouldn't say ripped from the headlines movie, but it's very like about what is happening in World War II,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I
Very
think
much
it
so.
is. I think the only way I think in which it kind of suffers is maybe in hindsight, in that this is a very silly movie, and 1942 was, as we've previously stated on this episode, the worst year that has ever happened. I think setting a movie about World War II and about like the Nazis in Poland in 1942 now almost feels like it would have been like in bad taste. But I think in when it was in production, I think even when it came out, people were like, "Is this okay to like laugh at?" Like this is
Right.
very like people are literally dying every day. Like I don't know if this is great, subject material for like a wacky comedy. I do think this movie does a pretty good job of not making light of the fact that Nazis are horrifying while still trying to tell a lighthearted story.
Yeah, I don't think that you know, I don't feel that this movie is distasteful, I'll say.
I don't either, but I also didn't feel that Jojo Rabbit was distasteful, and I know a lot of people did. So your mileage may vary.
That one was on the edge for me.
I think Jojo Rabbit goes further than this movie does towards like butting up against bad taste. But yeah, this is about a theater troupe who are fighting the Nazis through the power of showbiz. And by
Let's
that,
put on a show.
it's so much of a let's put on a show movie, and the fact that it's a let's put on a show movie to like fuck with the Nazis,
Yeah.
I think is pretty great. Like the premise of this movie, I was hooked pretty quickly.
This movie feels like it's from the future, like circa 1942, right?
Hmm.
Like I haven't really heard of this movie, like relatively speaking,
Yeah, same.
before this. Like it's not really in the lexicon. I think that like when not the lexicon, but like the I don't know, whatever. But like this is a movie that everyone was like, oh, the producers was really doing this groundbreaking thing, and it's like,
Oh, of
nope,
like making fun
this
of the
did it first.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Also,
Or
like
like,
they did it while the war was still happening, and like while
yeah.
it was still like a very intense thing. Yeah.
And there's like, the Donald Duck cartoons that are like making fun of Hitler or
Right. I
whatever.
mean,
Like
we
they're
we 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 did Great Dictator and the Three Stooges stuff already.
yeah. But this is like, yeah, in occupied Poland and like features, marching Nazis. Like there's like a much more of like a fear in this. It's like it's not poking fun, but it is um having fun, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is definitely portraying Nazis in a sort of buffoonish, at least some of them in a buffoonish manner, while still acknowledging that even buffoons can be incredibly dangerous, and even the fact that they are buffoons kind of helps make them dangerous because buffoons are dumb and unpredictable.
Right.
But it is like, yeah, I think this movie doesn't. It feels like it never loses sight of like the danger inherent in every
Mhm.
scene. Like the stakes of this
Yeah.
movie are incredibly high,
Yeah.
and you do feel like death hanging over. It's like at any point, like these people might be shot, and so that is like. But it's
You
also
feel it.
it is using that to add comedic stakes to it too.
Yeah, it's that kind of tension. Like it's using it for comedy in that way of like when there's a lot of tension and you break the tension, you laugh.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And it uses that
I
well
think I
in
think there's
this
a lot of
movie.
like laughter in this movie that's like kind of uncomfortable, like
Yeah, very advanced comedy, I will
yeah.
say.
I mean, I do love how much this movie is like feels like a fuck you to Nazis just in general. Like
Yeah,
it feels very, it feels you can feel the contempt, I guess, for
yeah.
just like oh fucking Nazis, I hate them.
Not that I had any doubts about like big Weimar energy Lubitsch,
Right. Yeah.
but like it's nice to see this coming from a German too.
Yeah. I do think this going to this knowing that it was like the Ernst Lubitsch like World War II movie kind of, or it's like his comedy about Nazis, I had high hopes. I was like, let's see what Lubitsch is gonna do, and I was like, all right, yeah, he's bringing it still. I think Ernst Lubitsch is maybe one of, if not the best filmmakers for portraying flirting on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's ever really done it better before or since. It's very, very, very good at it. And there's a lot of flirting in this movie, both sort of in a very genuine way and also as like means to very. There's a lot of like seducing back and forth. There's lots of misunderstandings, lots of hijinks.
Yeah, basically this movie like kind of
It's got a love triangle. We love
yeah,
those.
of course it
Ernst
does.
Lubitsch loves those.
This movie is basically like a bunch of actors are about to put on a play. A bunch of actors in Poland are about to put on a play about the Nazis, but right when they're about to do it, the Nazis invade Poland.
And
Everything
censor
is
it.
starts.
Well,
Everything starts
first
like
they're censored, I think, and then the invasion happens.
right.
Because they're like,
But like
the government is like, we can't put this on right now because we're worried about
it's too
pissing off the
dicey.
Nazis. Yeah.
But yeah, then it's a moot point because the Nazis invade, and then everything they kind of flash forward for a while. They're existing in this like invaded zone where
Mhm.
everything sucks. But then all of these people who have all of this acting expertise, all of this romantic tension, and all of these Nazi costumes have found themselves in this kind of unwittingly kind of like involved in this spy plot against
Mhm.
the Nazis, which is a great premise.
It very much is. It reminded me a lot of Inglorious Bastards.
Very much so.
In a real sort of like, I'm getting real Boss Baby vibes from this because like obviously this came first.
When you watch Inglorious Bastards, like
I would be very surprised if Tarantino didn't, and he's probably talked about this also, if this
yeah,
wasn't one of his big kind of points of inspiration for that.
having watched this movie after Inglorious Bastards, you almost expect it to go in this
Right.
historical fiction way
And I do kind
that
of wish
Inglorious
it did.
Bastards does. It would have been great, but I wonder if I was thinking like how that would sit in the moment, right? Whether
Right.
it would
Yeah.
feel like this inspirational thing, or like oh yay we killed Hitler,
Mm.
or like this is how we could do it, or if it was just
With
like well we're
showbiz.
still yeah, it's like we're still kind of in the shit right now, and
Yeah.
Hitler isn't dead, so this feels more tasteless, you know?
Right. Yeah. Right. It is like Inglorious Bastards is like, uh, defeating the Nazis through the power of cinema, whereas this is like through the power of the stage, of the theater.
Alas, poor Yorick.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They never do. They never get to Alas Poor Yorick in this, do they? They only do the to be or not to be speech.
And that one keeps getting interrupted
Yeah.
because there's a great recurring gag of the
I have not seen Hamlet in quite some time. Is that the same monologue? Does it start with Alas Poor Yorick and then get to be or not to be? I feel like it does. And I
don't
feel
know.
very dumb for not knowing this off the top of my head. So yell at me.
I think
in
it's
the comments.
possible. It's possible.
I'm uncultured, all right? I've only seen Hamlet the one time, all right? I think I read it once, maybe also. Anyway,
I've only seen the Simpsons one.
a lot of spy stuff in this one. There is young baby-faced Robert Stack of Unsolved Mysteries fame as the young Polish pilot who's the sort of one end of the love triangle. There's like the married couple who are actors, and then there's this pilot who has a crush on the God, what's her name? I don't have any names today. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Carol Lombard, Maria Tura.
Right, Carol Lombard, which I mean, I don't know. We should talk about this right now. This is her last movie because she died in a plane crash in 1942, and it was it was in the news. People were very upset about it. I don't know if I'd seen a lot of other Carol Lombard movies. I think she's very good in this.
Yeah, she's great in this.
I don't think I'd seen a lot of Jack Benny movies either, if any. And yeah, like the cast in this is pretty solid. Like
It's pretty stacked.
Well, true. So yeah, they're the three ends of the love triangle. The title, I guess, is mostly referring to the fact that like the to be or not to be part of the monologue was his sort of like code, his activation code phrase to leave the audience and then go meet up in the dressing room, and that was messing up Jack Benny as Joseph's. He kept seeing this guy leave the audience every time he was doing his big dramatic monologue.
Jack Benny, by the way, another big name that I think we're seeing for the first time here.
Right? Yeah, it's like I feel like there were a lot of kind of big, Hollywood stars, which I was aware. Like I never heard the name Jack Benny and Carol Lombard, but wasn't really that familiar with their actual movies. But so there's right. So there's all this kind of built-in romantic tension that then is sort of layered atop all of this spy tension. That then also, Carol Lombard's character Maria is then kind of trying to seduce this turncoat professor who's a double agent, and is going to give all of the names of the friends of the Air Force to the Nazis if they let him get this information through to the Gestapo. And so they're all, the whole spy plot is we got to make sure that this guy doesn't get his information to the Nazis, and also we need to kill him because he sucks and he's a double agent. And there's a lot of disguises. They end up killing him too early, so then they have to take his place. And then that becomes a whole thing, and there's like
the gag involved
finding the corpse and shaving the corpse's face.
That's so good. It's so good. It's like really good, like fast thinking. I don't want to ruin it, I feel like, but it's like,
yeah,
it's such a good gag, like and like such a well thought out like spy comedy thing of like, how do you, like, you might be discovered as the fake. When they have when they've discovered the corpse of the guy that you're pretending to be.
There's so much like a literal knife's edge of like people almost being discovered in a disguise or like playing a character, and also just like, things where someone is pretending to be someone else and then the real person shows up and it's like, oh no, what are they gonna do now? And that's like, I think that movie just sustains that kind of gag for almost its entire runtime.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like, right, we almost want to avoid like just like naming a bunch of jokes because it's like, no, go watch the movie. Like we both know it was funny.
Yeah, watch Lubitsch movies.
Yeah, the writing in this is definitely a real standout, I think. Like just I mean the twists and turns, but just like a lot of fun dialogue stuff too. And also just like, I mean, I feel like talk about this more maybe in the next movie, but this movie feels, for coming out in 1942, it feels, I think, more kind of daring than it would. I think like having looked at the news and sort of like having a real context of like what was happening in the world in 1942, this movie feels more, just kind of ballsier than I think. Had I watched it cold, I'm like, oh, this is an old movie. Yeah, it was happening during the war, but like whatever. It just I felt the weight of it, I guess, and the sort of like how much it was very much like, I don't know, not a great comparison because it's also a much better movie than this, but like what's the Seth Rogen North Korea movie, The Interview, that was banned briefly.
Yeah, I thought you were saying that The Interview was better than this movie.
No. I don't think The Interview is a particularly great movie, but I was also very mad when it, got pulled from a bunch of theaters because it was like, we can't annoy North Korea too much.
It's the only time it's the only time it's ever happened where going to my job made me feel like a hero. Yeah, I showed up.
Yeah, the only time seeing a Seth Rogen movie made me feel like a hero. But so yeah, maybe not great comparison, but still the sort of thing where it's like there's actual sort of like I don't know, tension to just this movie existing, I guess.
Mhm.
That I think it also just makes me happy
Like The
that
Great
like this movie
Dictator.
exists.
The Great
Yeah.
Dictator came out 2 years before this movie, and it was
I think
so
I think that
controversial.
movie
It
feels
was like
much more daring than this one even. Yeah.
yeah, especially because, yeah, like, nobody wanted Chaplin to make it, and he was just like, "No, I hate Hitler. I'm gonna make this
Yeah.
movie."
Also, Chaplin had so much clout that he was just like, "I can do whatever I want." I'm like, "You can't stop me because I'm Charlie Chaplin."
Yeah.
A bit I really like where they're using a sort of theater spotlight as a like searchlight.
Yeah, that was cool.
It feels like it's sort of drawing a parallel between like showbiz and like war, I guess.
Out there on the stage, it's war.
But that's like that's kind of the joke that this movie is into. There was a very funny, I thought, off-screen gunshot towards the end of this movie, where like the head of the Gestapo in Warsaw is like being confronted with the fact that he's gonna like take the fall for all this goofy bullshit that's happened, and like the characters leave and he's still in the room and we just hear a gunshot off screen. Like, oh, I guess he just shot himself. But then he yells again, so it's like, wait, did he? So maybe taking the piss out of that a little bit, but he yells Schultz a lot, which I don't know if Hogan's Heroes stole that from this movie or
Hmm,
not, but maybe.
I've never seen Hogan's Heroes.
I've seen
That's
Hogan's
another
Heroes
thing
isn't it?
that's
It
has
is
been accused
wild.
of being tasteless.
I mean, it is pretty wild that that was like came out very soon after World War II, and it's like a sitcom. It's so silly.
Yeah.
That I think like the few amounts of Hogan's Heroes, I think Hogan's Heroes is kind of a fun show because it is a sitcom, but it does often feel in bad taste because it's like we're having like a football game or whatever, and it's like no, that was not happening.
Yeah.
The Nazis were not the mean dean of the school.
Robot House.
Yeah, but this movie I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah.